This video is about how to set up the G-Scale gate controller and with two remote detectors. So here are the remote detectors and here is the controller. And then today we're going to use our power module, but you can use any 12-volt power supply. And we have a single gate. So I'm going to zoom in so you can get a better look at how we're going to do this. All right, let's get started. And what I have here, this is the gate controller. Top slides right off, magnet base, and I've already connected the power to the black terminal. So the black terminal is 12 volts DC. There's a green terminal here. Far left pin is the detect pin. When we hook up the detectors later on, they both go into the left hand. There's a center terminal for output for triggering other detectors or other gate controllers. So if you have a synchronized more than one gate, or you have sound, that's a convenient way to do that. And the far right green terminal is ground. I'll show you later on how to run a wire from here and trigger or trip the detector side of the circuit without the detector, so that for troubleshooting purposes. All right, so basically just connected the wire here, and what I want to do without the gate hooked up, I'm going to turn the power on, and I want to show you the boot up sequence. First of all, the light will come on briefly for 1 second, then it will flash 4 times and stay on. And what that's doing is when the motor is moving, the light will be steady on. So we don't have anything connected, so it times out after about 6 or 7 seconds. And now you can see it blinking about every 4 seconds. That's what we call a heartbeat. So what we know now is that the controller has power, it's gone through its boot cycle, and it's running because you can see the heartbeat. So if you don't get to this point, don't start hooking things up and trying to figure out what's wrong. And the other thing that I recommend for all of these kind of setups, start small and simple, do one thing at a time, testing each way. It'll save you a lot of headaches. All right, so we're going to turn the power off. The plugs for the gate itself are pretty straightforward. There's a 4-pin terminal and a 6-pin terminal, and they will just simply go up through the block and through the bracket. And to do this with a little bit more finesse, I'm going to pull the wire through a little bit more. And all right, so the gate goes on the right, give it a firm push, and the one on the left is for the stop and for the lights. And we'll just put that back down into the bracket. Okay, now I ran the gate down a little bit. When you get your gate, it should be almost to touching the top. I did that because I want to show you what happens when the power is applied and it goes through the boot sequence. All the time, every time you add power to the system, the gate will go to the up position, and there's a little pin here that will touch the metal aluminum rod. It closes the circuit and says, stop the motor, I'm at the top. So let's do that. So we get the light, we get the flashing. All right, now the light is on, the motor's gone up, and it's all calibrated and set for the top. All right, the next thing that you can do to test the motor, there's a little push button here, and I use the tip of my nail to get it. It's pretty small, and you push the button twice. And what that will do is will immediately move the gate to the down position and stop, and it'll stay there because it's in manual mode. All right, that's what we call that. And I'll push the button again twice, 1, 2, and the gate will go back up and set at the top position. All right, so not much to that. It's always in immediate mode with the manual push button, and that's all there is to that. So next thing that we'll do is we have 2 Precision Detector MAXs. We'll hook them up one at a time and get them to trigger the gate. Okay, now we're going to hook up one of our Precision Detector MAX. I've already connected the power It uses the same 12-volt supply. In fact, for the system to work, they have to be connected to the same 12-volt power supply. You can't have two separate supplies and make that work. So use the same power supply. Any 12-volt supply will work. All right. So when we turn this on, the detector will go through its own boot up sequence. In this case, it's a green light. You saw the flash there, so we're all set to go. And so the only thing to do is to connect the signal wire to the detect pin on the gate controller. So I'm going to turn the power off. I'm going to feed this signal wire up through the middle here and grab hold of it and just pull this out a little bit so that I can get the wire into the pin. So we have detect on the far left. We have a synchronizing pin. This would be output to trigger other gates. And then we have a ground pin. So there's a way to test the triggering mechanism on the gate controller. And I'll show you that in a couple of minutes. So I tighten the screw down, pull the wire, get everything set up. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to turn the power on. And they'll both go through their boot up sequence. Okay. And now, if I put my hand in front of this detector, the gate starts flashing, and then after 5 seconds, the gate will go down. So it's on 5-second delay mode, and the gate will stay down as long as my hand is blocking the sensor. Now, right now, the sensor sees the gate arm, so I'm going to just turn it sideways, and you see the gate going up. All right? So pretty simple. There's a separate video on different settings for the precision detector, different range settings and different timeouts. But we have a basic, very simple setup here. We set this on immediate mode, the shortest timeout, and now we have that working. So we would put that farther down the track as far as you want, 20 feet, 50 feet. And what we're going to do is now hook up the second precision detector. All right, and we're going to connect it to the same detect line. So what that will do is that it's an or circumstance. So either when this gate is triggered or this one is triggered, the gate will be in the down position. So imagine you have a train coming through here and the train triggers from the east side. The train then would block the second detector and keep the gate down until the train fully exited the second detector. So that's how you get coverage. And of course, it works both ways. If the train comes along and detects this one first, then it will hold the gate open as long as this one is detected. All right, so we're going to turn the power off and we'll connect up this wire. All right, I finished connecting and tightening the wires down. So we have two detectors, signal wires going into the left-hand detector. They're in the same port, left-hand port. So that's the setup. So now if I hit block this detector or block this detector, oh, got to turn the power on. To everybody's setup. And now I put my hand in front of the detector and it will count to 5 and then the gate will go down. All right, and the train's going through, and now the train gets to here, and the train is still going, and now the train has exited, and that will release the gate. All right. So I mentioned earlier that you can change the mode here, so it's counting to 5 or so, and then going down. To put it into immediate mode, you push the little button here 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that flashes. There we go. And now it should go immediately. Whoops, maybe I didn't quite do that right. Let's try it again. There we go. Right, now it's in immediate mode. And the gate will go up. All right. And so 4 pushes of the button is immediate mode, 5 pushes is 5-second delay, and 6 pushes of the button is a 10-second delay. So if you had 2 gates going, one would go down first and then the other one would wait another 5 seconds and go down, so that would be a total of 10 seconds on the second gate. All right. If you have any, if you're concerned about the state of the board, if you push it 13 times, that will reset the board to its default. Now, one of the things I want to do here is I'm going to trigger this detector. I'll put it on the hood on backwards. Oh, it'll go back down again. There we go. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to adjust the location of the arm. When the arm goes into the up position, the stop pin stops it. It'll always stop in that same position. But in the down position, it might be a little bit off, and I'll show you how to adjust that. There's an adjustable potentiometer here, and this is another reason you can use the screwdriver. And in this orientation, the slot for the pin is horizontal. If you turn it counterclockwise like that, the gate arm will go up. You have to turn it back to 0, because once it's turned in this direction, all it does is turn the switch on for the motor, and the motor will keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. So you want to stop it, and likewise when you go in the down position. All right, so to get that to work, we have to put it in the down position in manual mode. Don't trigger it by the detectors, because it won't do anything. All right, so we've put it into the down mode, and we'll still see the heartbeat. But when I turn this counterclockwise, so the screwdriver pin is horizontal, when I turn it counterclockwise, you can see that the light blinks fast and the arm is moving up. Now I turned it back to horizontal and that motion stops. Now I'm going to turn it clockwise and you can see that the light's flashing, and I'm going to stop it right there by turning it back to horizontal. And you'll know it's in horizontal mode because the heartbeat is on, not the rapid flashing. So it's a little bit high, so I can make it go down a little bit more. There we go. And that's all there is to it, because the controller will remember that location. I'm going to push it twice and have it recover. And it's a good idea to do this twice just to make sure that it's calibrated. That looks pretty good, and if you're happy with that, just leave it alone, and that's all there is to do to set up the gate controller. We need to put it back up because it's in manual mode. It will just sit there forever. There we go. Okay, so now we have the detector, 2 detectors, and the gate controller. And if you have more than one gate controller, gate, you'll just hook up the gate controllers, and there's a separate video on how to do that. But that's the basic setup for 1 gate and 2 detectors.